Okay, that's set up. It's taken care of. Oh, well, apparently my mic is up and active. Alright, you know what? I'll just go live. There we go. I really need to check make sure that my mic is muted or not. Okay. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strangebird Jim, and today we are going to be getting back into the normal lineup of content for today, or normal-ish, I guess you might say. Um, if you're not familiar with my streams, what I normally do is I do about an hour worth of Pega studying as I'm working towards my certification. I have about an hour of video uploads because I got a backlog of videos that I need to make public. And then I go into a game after that, which today's game will be Warframe. So, um, first part. Today is apparently Father's Day, so for those of you that are fathers out there, hopefully you're having a great day. So, um, I'm not a father, so I don't really have that. Um, no one, I'm not getting that like breakfast in bed or anything along those lines. So, but that's okay. Um, maybe someday. You never know. I'll just see about getting an income to actually um, allow for a family, um, but yeah, that'll have to be for later. Okay, what is going on in this Pega portion of the stream? So first off, let me get some things out of the way here. First off, this is not endorsed by Pega itself. Okay, I'm not getting any kind of like benefits from them. I never like contacted them and said, "Hey, I'm doing this stream. Can you help me out?" None of that is a thing. So if anybody thinks that, just get rid of it from your mind because there's nothing there. Okay, I just want to make sure that no one has some kind of thought line like, "Oh, hey, Jim's getting a lot of money from Pega for doing this." No, no. See, I'm doing this for my own benefit in the sense that I'm currently working towards my certification for the system architect. Okay. Um, and maybe even business architect, but um, Pega never came to me and asked me to do this. I never went to them and said that I was going to do this, so nothing's going on there. Okay, so I want to get that uh, stated at the very beginning. Okay, second thing that I want to mention, I am not an authorized training partner, and this is not a instructor-led training. Okay, so do not consider it as such. Okay. Um, now, I will do what I can to maybe answer your questions if you do have any. If you're like asking any questions in midstream, or if you're putting comments in the videos afterwards. Either way, that's that's available to you if you want. Um, I just can't guarantee that I'll be able to answer them properly or um, as um, like an expert would. So, um, you know, but if there is a question that I don't really understand, then I will try my best to try to find someone that can answer those questions. So don't feel like you can't ask them. Okay. Feel free to still ask those questions. If I can't answer them, I will. If it's a question that I don't have a proper answer to, then I will see about trying to find someone that can answer. So, um, even if it's like contacting, the few people that I have, um, some kind of connection to by like via email. But again, I'm not planning on abusing that either. Okay, they have their own jobs and workload that they're doing, so um, obviously, I'm not going to be like, you know, sending them stupid questions or something along those lines, like how much you get paid or something like that. No, that's not going to happen. Um, so you know, so both of those are not happening here. Okay. Now, if you want to do the instructor-led training, I would suggest that you do so because um, one would hope that the instructor in this particular case would be an expert in Pega, would be able to answer all your questions, and would be able to provide you the content that you're looking for in order to pass the certification um, with ease. At least one would hope. Um, Obviously you'll still need to put in some work yourself to make sure that you can pass it, um, you know, as well. Um, but the amount of money that you're spending for the instructor-led training, I hope that you get your money's worth out of it because it is not cheap. Okay. So do what if you do uh, start up an instructor-led training, make sure that you get your money's worth. Ask a whole lot of questions, dive deeper into the content, um, and really work hard on, getting those challenges, getting the topics, um, even asking some questions about previous versions as well. Okay. When I took my certification, I was getting questions from Pega 7, and I was trying, and my study session was 8.6. The trainer that I had at work didn't really do much. So there was a lot of us in the batch that went to self-study because we just could not work with the instructor. The fact that we, he wasn't removed and replaced, it still astounds me to this day. Um, because he was making mistakes that even his coworkers were having to try to manage. And it's like this hello, you know, this is not ideal. Um, You know, there was some of us that we were even asking to be placed back into a batch training system to go back through it with a different instructor, but that didn't happen either. So it was just a mess. Okay, but um, so but I never took it upon myself to try to keep on pushing for the certification, keep on pushing myself to try to get it myself. I had no other mentors to really tap into. I mean, I had, um, I knew about people that had experience with Pega, um, but I was always trying to see like, hey, can you guys help me through like studying for the certification and answer my questions? And they were like, well, we're busy, so you're just gonna have to ask us questions when you need it. And it's like often I I just didn't do it. I just could not get the right kind of motivation to continue with the studies. So this is my attempt to get the system architect and maybe even the business architect as well on this particular journey. So I will cover the remaining two modules of the business architect. For those of you that are studying for the business architect, we're going to be going over those last two modules as well at the very end of the two missions. And then we'll proceed on with the system architect, for its remaining 26 modules and 23 challenges after that. So now, I have been instructed that, the senior system architect might be a good resource for me to tap into as well. Might provide me some additional answers to some of my questions. Um, but we'll see. We'll see about that. Um, you know, uh, so far I've put a lot of time into the system architect, and I'm already looking at the three missions, 12 modules, and 11 challenges here, and uh, I already know one day, 8 hours and 30 minutes is not correct. So, um, but we'll proceed on with the system architect studying. We're going to go to the low code app builder extended. We're getting close to the very end of this particular mission. There's a couple more modules and challenges remaining before we get to the exercise and the mission test at the very end. So, as you can see, there's 6 left. So, okay, so let's go on to the module for designing a mobile app experience. So, we got 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and 5 minutes. We'll see how much we can get through that. So, mobile app channels. Let's talk about this. So, mobile app channels have become more powerful and easy to use, providing an additional convenient access channel to support employees in the field. You can use the existing mobile channel to quickly build a consumer-grade app or modify an app to meet your needs. A mobile channel provides developers a way to intuitively configure and customize various aspects of a mobile app behavior. Um, so think of it this way. You can visit a website. Um, so okay, YouTube right now. I'm streaming live on YouTube, so you might be watching this on your computer, but you might also be watching this live on your phone. You might be like on your phone, you're seeing this live, and you're kind of scrolling through it, and you're like, oh, okay, here's a video. Let me click on that. I'll watch that. You know, so um, if there's a need for the user mobile app, okay, like you might have um, like workers out in the field doing something. Maybe you have customers that you want to reach out, you know, um, mobile, you know, um, like, the often thing that they talk about, or the often, like, um, job that they, talk about during the challenges is about, the roadside assistance, right? So, you have a customer that has a mobile app that says, "Hey, I have a flat tire at this particular location right at this particular moment in time. Please help me out." Okay, and that can all be resolved on mobile. So, um, so it saves the customer time, it saves the business time to allow for that um, kind of transaction, like right then and there. Okay. Um, Now it might not necessarily be needed like all the time. Um, like there might be like a lot of information that you need to collect, and therefore, um, you know, the uh, the user mobile app might not necessarily be the best tool to allow for that particular application. Um, so you'll obviously want to make sure that the application that you're doing right now has a need for it. It could be later on in the future too. Okay, you know, um, like you might design like your initial application to just be like a desktop application, but you may want to eventually turn it into a mobile app. So, um, so um, you know, don't be afraid to allow for that potential possibility later. Okay. So, okay. Okay. So a mobile channel is organized into settings logically grouped on the content, configuration, layout, and manage tabs. The channel provides real-time preview of the app design tailored to the current tab. In the following image, click on the plus icons to learn more. All right, so here's your um, here's a sample of the mobile application, right? So content tab. The content tab controls the content available to users in the mobile app. Use the content tab to customize app navigation and functionality by adding, reordering, and removing the default mobile app pages, such as search functionality and notification lists, creating customized app content using mobile list pages, and defining swipe actions for list items to provide users with quick access to common tasks. Configuration tab. The configuration tab controls basic app functionality, such as the app name as displayed on the mobile device, the role assigned to users of the mobile app, whether the app supports offline processing, app security, including user authentication and session management, which is obviously very important if you're dealing with anything that you know um, requires that security. Like maybe you allow for um, the mobile app on for like in medical, like like your doctors or your nurses can have that application like on their phone, so when they visit a patient, they can just type in what they want like right then and there, without having to like maybe go back to the desk or something. You know, same idea, right? So, but at the same time, you want that security there to make sure that you know anything that they enter in is contained. So it's not like leaked out or anything along those lines. You have that confidentiality for that patient. So, um, so yeah, layout. Layout tab controls app branding and styling options, including the launch page and UI element colors. You can change the default icon using native icons or custom files for the icon to personalize your app. Okay. Yeah, I mean, might be good to kind of have, um, you know, if you want to like design it a little bit more, you know, then that's obviously a good thing. You know, you don't want to have something that is very generic, doesn't have your branding at all, because you're you're not like reinforcing that, hey, you know, this is indeed, you know, this particular application. You know, it doesn't, um, you know, you want to like reinforce that, hey, you know, this is indeed, um, you know, the my application for the hospital or something like that. You know, the Manage tab controls administrative functions such as log access and administrative push notifications. Administrative push notifications, which are sent from the console to this tab, differ from the app-based push notifications sent during case processing. For example, you use the administrative push notification console to inform users to update to a newer version of the mobile app. Selectable options. The selectable options also change based on the selected tab. Settings are logically grouped together in each option. All right. Configuration pane. The options and menu items displayed in the configuration pane differ based on the selected tab. Well, different tab and different selectable options. You know, saying that hey, you have navigation here under content, so that's what's being shown there. If you were to select like search or mobile list pages, I'm sure that this content would change as well. So, mobile app preview. The mobile channel configuration features a live preview that displays the appearance of the app on the mobile device. As you make changes, you can observe them in real time in the app preview. Now, um, I don't know how reliable that really is, because there's a lot of mobile devices out there, and trying to make sure that um, each mobile phone out there, you know, works exactly the same each and every single time, um, isn't necessarily going to be easy. Obviously, you know, you want to do what you can, but um, but it's not necessarily going to be like standard each and every single time either. Okay, so you shouldn't necessarily make that assumption. Like, oh, hey, you got an Android phone? Oh, okay, well, it should work this way, no matter what. It's like, probably not. Don't. I mean, sure, you might try to code it to act a certain way, but you know, the different manufacturers might have a different way of going about doing things. Okay. Um, it's like what I said about browsers a long time ago. Each browser has a different way of handling a web page. Okay, so while you might design the web page to handle, you know, um, what you want to do in a certain fashion, how to look, how to act, and so on and so forth, that might not, um, it might not act that way when you go to a different browser. Okay, it might react differently. So, um, so you'll have to, double check, you know. So, and then of course, build as application options. The preview includes 3 buttons for building and accessing a Pega mobile application. The iOS and Android buttons present pages for building a mobile app for the respective platform. Each build option is customized to a specific platform. For example, clicking the iOS button allows the creation of a certificate set based on iOS signing certificates, which is used to sign the mobile app. Click the Pega button to model the channel configuration on a mobile device using the Pega Mobile Preview app. Pega Mobile Preview allows you to access your Pega platform application on your device as a mobile app for up to 30 days by scanning the provided QR code. Downloading a native mobile app and previewing an app with the Pega Mobile Preview require login into the Pega platform over a secure HTTP connection. Building an native iOS or Android mobile app from the channel configuration requires configuring access to the mobile app build server and creating a certificate set from uploading signing certificates provided by recognized certificate authority. These are advanced configuration tasks and are not covered in this module. So obviously you'll probably want to that maybe it's covered in the senior, or it may be covered like in a different module or challenge. So yeah. Mobile app security. To make your mobile app more secure, you can use the security tab to select an authentication model and configure the login settings for your app. You can also disable authentication requirements for users who want to access the app by selecting a role that determines which users have access to the mobile channel. Now, obviously, you know, you want to set up as much security as you possibly can to try to dissuade hackers from um, causing you some undue hardship. But at the same time, let's face it, hackers, you know, have a lot of tricks up their sleeves, so they will find ways to try to break the system. Um, find ways in. So while you might say like, hey, I'm the most secure thing in the entire planet, that might not necessarily be the case. Okay, um, so make sure that you have like not necessarily backups, but um, obviously don't go and like go, oh well, then I'm not going to have security whatsoever. I mean, then you're just basically giving the information to hackers at that point. Um, but you should have um, you should make sure that your information isn't easily um, like downloadable kind of thing. Like it shouldn't necessarily be inside the application itself. So um, especially if it's like sensitive, right? Um, it's like when you call up a company and say, "Hey, I forgot my password." Okay. Um, are they going to be able to look at the database and go, "Oh yeah, your password's this"? No. Or at least they shouldn't. Um, that shouldn't be easily accessible to the employees, okay? Because if your password's easily accessible to the employees, like they can actually see the password, then they have the potential of actually changing it themselves. So that's bad. That can be really uh, that can be pretty scary, because if you have the wrong employee there, then they can really cause a lot of hardship along those lines. Okay, um, so yeah, just saying. All right, mobile app branding. Pega platform allows you to build custom mobile apps in a low-code environment. You can tailor the app's interfaces to reflect your brand identity for professional look and feel to ensure consistent user experience across channels. You can customize the interface to match the branding requirements. Icon and launch screen design to ensure the users can easily recognize and find your mobile app. Use the mobile app preview to create a personalized app launch screen and icon, specifying corresponding icons and background colors. You can customize the app branding by uploading an image, selecting from a list of font icons, or using the default text branded icons or text-based icons. Theme customization. To ensure the consistent experience through the user workflow, define an application-wide theme for your app. In the Layout tab, specify colors for various interface elements and observe the changes in real time on the mobile app preview. So, you can have, background, navigation, colors for the primary button, for the simple button, header text, footer text, so on and so forth. So, all right. Which two configurations can be performed from the mobile app channel? Choose two. So send push notifications when a task is assigned to a user. I mean, um, I think that was one of them. Swipe action for items in a list of open cases. Configure responsive user interface behavior for the application. Mm. Enable application lock to secure the mobile app. Ooh, a lot of these could be considered good. Um, hmm. But I don't know if the push notifications is specific to the mobile app channel. So we're going to remove that one. I mean, you can set up push notifications, through a regular application, not just a mobile app. So I'm going to remove that one. Um, I'm going to select these two, the swipe action and the application lock. Configure responsive user interface behavior for the application. I mean, that can be done, through the application itself. So, yeah. You can specify swipe actions for the items displayed on the mobile list page using the Content tab. Authentication and security settings are configurable on the Configuration tab of the mobile app channel. So let me refresh this and let me see what what they would say for the wrong answers on this one. So this one and this one. So responsive user interface behavior is configured using application skin. The push notification console to the Manage tab sends and manages administrative push notifications rather than case-based push notifications. So it's good to have an idea as to what um, you know these um, you want to make sure that you're understanding, what, um, the scope of what they're kind of asking for, and also like, hey, you might want to know like, you know, what is the scope of you know, what that answer might actually mean. So like if they say, hey, what is the, you know, uh, you know, um, what is the administrative push notifications or something along those lines, then you'll know kind of thing, that kind of thing. You want to know, um, both, you know, you're gonna want to know both basically, you know. Um, so if they kind of come at you with like a true false and they say, hey, is this the case-based push notification? You'll be able to say, oh, well, that's true, or no, that's actually false. That kind of thing. So, all right, next topic. I only got 15 minutes, so, yeah, okay, it's one of these, um, it's one of these pages where it's basically saying, hey, um, you can do these steps on your challenge to kind of see everything that you can kind of do with the mobile app. So additional tasks for designing a mobile app experience. Not, it's not something that is conveying a lot of like relatively new information per se. It's basically saying, hey, these are ways of, building your mobile app. So, you might want to look into this particular page a little bit more to um, to kind of get a little bit more of a um, to get a little bit more experience using everything that they're kind of giving on here. So I may come back to this if I have time with the challenge, but um, this is something that, I would probably recommend to anybody that is currently watching this right now to kind of go through this, obviously in your own time. Um, use the challenge instance to, um, go through all of this and, have a little bit more of a understanding of everything that's kind of going on here. So, um, so yeah, um, and hopefully you can do that. But we're gonna go ahead and skip this. We're gonna go ahead and just move on to the module quiz. So, excuse me. All right. So, which of the following options is a valid swipe action? Um, Starting an optional process in on your case. All right, maybe. Changing the text color of a menu? No. Executing an optional action on your case? Hmm, no. Turn into the previous screen? I don't know if that's really. Hmm. Okay, so here's my thought line on this. Okay. Changing the text color of a menu? No, that's in the um, that's in the customization on the mobile development. So that isn't a thing. That's not something that you would have a swipe action for. Okay. I'm not certain about the optional process, okay, or optional action because um, those are typically done when you have like you put in some specific information into um, your process and it will go, oh wait, you know, we need some additional information or something along those lines, and it'll do the optional process, it'll do the optional action, whatever, right? I don't see that as a valid swipe action. That sounds to me like it's something like, like you hit enter in your, case, and it'll automatically switch over to that, optional process, optional action. So I don't think either one of those is correct. Returning to the previous screen, that sounds more in line with a swipe action. Like if you're going through like a form, a multi-page form, and you're using your swipe action to go between those form screens, right? I could see that more as the possibility. So, but apparently not. Okay. Navigational actions cannot be set as swipe actions. Okay. And then I'm not quite sure exactly what they mean in terms of the swipe actions. So the most that I can say is I'm going to go with this one, executing an optional action on your case, um, because um, it's not changing the text color. Like I said before, I don't believe it's the optional process. So, so the only thing that I can say is executing an optional action. That's the only thing that I can think of personally. So we're just gonna go with that one for now. We'll see if I got that question correct, but at at the very least, my first attempt there, by getting it wrong, I would have gotten that answer wrong on the quiz, so or on the certification. So, make sure that you get, the information. In a sense, I'm kind of telling myself that as well because, you know, in that certification, if I get that answer wrong, then it's just once again, um, I look at that and see that, hey, that's just going to be something that I'm going to have to kind of deal with, or that's a that's one wrong answer out of like the 80 questions that I'm going to give, and they're they're not going to give you a wide, um, they're not going to give you too much of a chance to pass that certification. So make sure that you get those questions correct. Okay, as many of them as you possibly can. So your company needs two separate mobile apps, one for customers to place delivery orders and one for couriers to confirm deliveries. The specifications include blue header background for the customer app and a green header background for the courier app. Which configuration allows you to complete this task? Uh, Create a single mobile app channel interface designed to header background colors that switch depending on who downloads the app. Okay. That sounds reasonable to me because um, hmm. Well, okay. The two separate mobile apps is what's kind of throwing me off here because you know you have two applications, one for delivering orders and one for confirming deliveries. Um, so why would you have a single mobile app channel interface for that? So um, create two mobile app channel interfaces, one for customers, one for couriers, because you're having um, different information that's being provided there. So that's why I'm saying different interfaces might be needed there. So um, so this one seems like it's like one of the oh wait, not the content configuration menu. We want the theme configuration menu. Um, in one mobile app channel interface, rename the header elements as customer and courier, change the element background colors respectively. Um, Again, the content of the application is going to be slightly different as well. So just renaming the header elements isn't going to cut it. So so I figure that this one is the best one. Yeah. Because there's two user personas, you create two channel interfaces. Background colors are set in the theme configuration menu. So, all right. Two mobile app channel interfaces are created for the manager and employee user personas. The manager channel interface contains capabilities to run reports and edit orders, while the employee channel interface does not. Both personas use the same channel, can use either channel interface. No. Channel interface for the employee persona is different than that of the manager persona, which contains additional application components and not required or permitted for the employee persona. So, uh, not sure about the first question. If we get 100%, then we'll see what happens. If I don't, okay. So that one was the correct answer out of that first question. So let's go back and see what the feedback says about, you know, the other incorrect answers there, right? Okay, um, so we had this one, right? For the correct answer, create two mobile app channel interfaces, one for customers, one for couriers. Set the background theme and the theme configuration menu. Content configuration menu means that they're changing the like what's being shown, on those um, on those applications kind of thing. Um, so I mean, there's still something that to be said about changing the content, but you're not changing the background color in the content. So just putting that out there. Um, so um, um, you need two mobile app channel interfaces for the different customers. So we've already kind of learned that. Um, and they've already said designate two header background colors to switch depending on who downloads the app. Okay, sure, but not exactly correct either. Now this one seems like it, might work kind of thing, but let's see what their feedback is on that. So, um, a mobile app channel interface cannot target multiple user personas. Well, can't you assign the personas to the same interface? I thought that was kind of a thing that you could do. Hmm. Uh, well, whatever. All right. Let's go ahead and um, take care of that. Okay. We selected false last time. So, let's see what they have to say about true, right? Okay. So, authors typically target one user persona for each mobile app channel interface. Typically, but not always. Okay. However, multiple personas could share a portal channel interface as long as the channel interface satisfies each persona's needs. Keep that in mind. In this example, it is unlikely that the employee persona would have access to the manager channel interface. You know, it's unlikely doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do it. Okay. Um, you could have an employee, run reports and edit orders. Okay. Um, or you might want them to run certain reports and edit orders or something along those lines. Um, so it's not, like, you can't do that. It's just, um, it's not typical. All right. So, and now we have this one. So we've already confirmed that return to the previous screen is not correct. I already mentioned, we have already did the executing optional action on your case. That one was correct. So we already know changing the text color of a menu is not a valid swipe action. It's, you have to do that within the theme configuration, right? So let's see what they say about starting an optional process on your case, right? Um, processes cannot be set as swipe actions. All right, well, that doesn't really say much. Oh well. Um, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more there, but all right. Um, so that's where we're gonna go ahead and end the um, this particular module. Like I said, you know, when we are heading back to our, um, as we come back out here, um, we're going to be going on to this challenge coming up. Don't be afraid to, go and tackle these additional tasks for designing a mobile app experience. Okay, don't be afraid to do that. So, use the use that challenge, that upcoming challenge here to do that part of what they're kind of talking about. Just so you can get a little bit more of an understanding along those lines. So, um, we're getting closer to the end for the business architect. So for those of you that are still following me and working towards your business architect, then um, you know Go back through, study the other missions, study questions, go to other websites to study like um, previous certification questions and the like, and definitely prep yourself for that certification test upcoming. Um, and make sure that you have like everything kind of set up in your particular area. Now, last time I took the certification, I needed to make sure that like my area was like completely clean. Like I I didn't have like anything on my desk. Um, they wanted me to take pictures of the entire setup that I had. So there wouldn't be anything there to kind of show that, hey, I'm getting some like additional assistance, at the time of taking the test. So just bear that in mind that, um, when you take the certification exam, if you're doing it remotely, okay, if they're still allowing for remote certification testing, um, make sure that um, your workspace is clean. Okay, they will demand that of you. If they don't see a clean workspace at all, they will reject your attempt. Okay, they will say your workspace is not up to what we need it to be. Um, you know, you have the potential of using whatever is on your table to cheat. We cannot have that, so you'll need to clean everything else. You know, that was back when I took it. Um, Now, prior to that, prior to them switching over to a remote certification with Proctor, um, they had certification exams at various locations in the world. Um, Now, I don't know if they've switched back to that. I would hope not. Um, but, um, that still might be a possibility. A lot of people are trying to force the whole, we need workers back in the office bull crap, which I don't agree with. Um, for obvious reasons. um, but um, you know, hopefully, hopefully you can still do it, you know, remotely. But um, if they are going back to the whole, hey, you have to take it at a particular location, be prepared for a drive. So, because obviously they're not going to be, they're not holding these certification exams, you know, um, in every little small city out there. So, um, they'll most likely be at a very large city, and um, obviously you need to set up the time and place, or they may have a time and place already set, which means that you're going to have to be there at that particular time, that particular place, and be ready to take your exam like right then and there. So, okay, but that's going to be it for today's Pega. Um, I want to thank everybody for joining me on this. Hopefully I um, helped provide a little bit more clarity and help during these modules, during these challenges. Um, you know, um, if you're joining me right now in stream, then you know, um, stay with me. We're gonna continue with with the rest of the stream. Uploading videos and Warframe later tonight. Um, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, um, feel free to, help me out um, by doing everything, that every YouTuber asks for, you know what they are, liking, subscribing, all that. Um, it helps me out, and you'll be able to uh, see more videos when I do upload. So when I do make them public, so you'll get more as I continue on. So if that's something that you would like to see, then hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Like I said before, feel free to ask any kind of questions, um, you know, concerning Pega if you're not really understanding the material very well. Um, you know, feel free to put your questions in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. If I don't know the answer, like I said, I'll see what I can do about finding someone that can answer them for you. Okay. Ideally, if anybody is a Pega expert, a proper instructor, or from Pega themselves, please go through these videos and answer any questions as well, because like I mentioned before, while I might not be an expert, you know, I'm always open for anybody to ask questions concerning, Pega and the like. Um, and, when you ask a question, if you have a question and you ask it, that might help someone else out, either, today, tomorrow, or maybe years from now. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay. Believe me, it's helpful to everybody involved. Okay. Um, it's helpful to you because you're getting the answer. It's helpful to the person who's, answering it because it reinforces their understanding of the material. Um, and you have the potential of helping out the next person that comes along that might have that same exact question later. So don't be afraid. Okay. Feel free to ask those questions. So, but that's it. That's where we're going to go ahead and end this particular video. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now.